Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Mr. Levy's Math Room. What we're going to be doing in this session is we're going to be looking at the factorization questions from the Csec paper 2 from 2017 to January 2023. I'm going to be working from January 2023 back to 2017. Right, and I wanted to take note of the types of factorization questions that we have, and I want you to just go ahead and work them as quickly as you possibly can, and then we can compare our answers. All right, so we begin with the January 2023 questions. All right, so we have, notice we have two of them. So we have part 1 and part 2. Right, hope you can see what's happening here. So this part of my writing skills on this whiteboard. So if we notice, we're looking at the first one, part 1. We have xy minus y squared. Now, the method we're going to be using here is factorization using the highest common factor. Right, so factorization using the highest common factor using the HCF, right? Now, if we notice there, what's common, right? You're correct. So y is common to both terms, right? So opening our brackets, we say y is common to both terms, or the highest common factor here would be y, right? So it's the highest common factor of xy and y squared. So these are the two terms that we have. So when we divide xy by y, we're left with x. And when we divide y squared is y times y. When we divide y squared by y, we get y, right? And then we can work backwards. So we can check to see if our answer is correct by just using the distributive law. So we say y times x would be xy, and y times y would be y squared. All right, so that would be your answer for that. So y into x minus y. Now let's look at the next part of the question. We have x squared minus y squared. So notice we have two squared terms here. So in this case, the method we use is factorization by difference of two squares, right? So difference right, so you can just look at that. And then what I wanted to remember, the general formula for difference of 2 squared is, so we have a plus b into a minus b, right? So a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b into a minus b, right? So the general form for this difference of squared is a squared. So we have a squared minus b squared, and then when we factorize that, would get open bracket a plus b into open bracket again a minus b. All right. So these are that's the general formula or the general form for factorizing difference of square. Right. So in this case, we have x squared minus y squared. So our result would be then, open bracket, x plus y, close bracket, x minus y. All right, there you have it. So that's your answer. Right, so it's x plus y, x minus y. Now, if you multiply, sorry about that. If you multiply both brackets, then it should give you x squared minus y squared. If you're not getting that, then you just go back to check to see what you did wrong or where you went wrong. Right? So you'd have x times x would be x squared, and so on. So you can just multiply the brackets together. Now let's hop over to June 2022, all right? And this was the only factorization question on there. Now notice then the type of expression we have here is a quadratic expression, right? So this is a quadratic expression, right? So we're factorizing this quadratic expression. Now, this quadratic expression is in the form ax, let me write that properly. So ax, x squared plus bx minus plus c, right? So that's general form, or the general formula, right? For the quadratic expression. So it's ax squared plus bx plus c. Right? So ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, um, in this case, we're going to multiply ac ac would be equal to, so a would be what? So a would be 5, b would be -9, and c would be 4. Let me write that then. So a equals 5, b equal -9, and c equal 4. All right. Now AC means you're multiplying, sorry about that, A by, so it's 5 times 4. So AC would be equal to 5 times 4, which is 20. 5 times 4 equal. Good. Now, in this case, what we want to find two factors of 20, right? A pair of factors of 20 that when we add them, we get B, sorry, and when we multiply them, we get A times C, right? So we want to find the two factors of um, 20, so that when we add them, we get -9, and when we multiply them, we get 20, right? So the um, of factors of 20, in this case, we are going to be using 5 and 4, right? Now, we're going to use 5 and 4. So we're going to use, and we need what? We need and -9, right? We need -9, so, and we need +20, right? So 5 times 4 is 20. 5 plus 4 is also 9, right? But in this case, we need -9. So it means that both the 5 and the 4 must be negative. When you multiply -5 times -4, that gives us 20. All right, +20. So now we can go ahead and replace -9x with -5x and -4x. So we have 5x squared, 5x squared minus 5x. Remember, we said we are replacing the -9x with -5x and the -4x plus 4. Right? Then when we get here, we're going to factorize by grouping. So we're going to group them, and then we take out the highest common factor from each bracket. So the highest common factor for 5x and -5x would be 5x. All right? So 5x is common here. Open bracket. Then we can divide. So we say 5x squared divided by 5x. Remember, x squared means x times x. So 5x squared divided by 5x would be x minus 5x, 5x divided by 5x is 1. And then what's common here? Negative. So we can use a -4 as our factor. That has common factor. Open bracket. So -4 divided by -4x, or -4x, sorry, divided by -4, that will give us positive x, or 1x. And positive 4 divided by -4 is equal to -1. Okay? Then notice we have the same thing in both brackets. Right? So now we can take out our factors. So 5x minus 4, sorry. So this would be 5x minus 4, close that bracket, and into x minus 1. Good? And that's your answer. Right? Now, again, you could go ahead and expand the brackets. If you expand the bracket, you should take it right back to 5x squared minus 9x plus 4. Right? So there you have it for the January 2023 and the June 2022 paper. Right? So make a note of that. I'm going to now go to so that was January and June. I'm going to go to January 2022. All right. All right, I'm going to erase what I have here. All right, so let's do this. All right. So January 2022, we have, so let me write that. So January, just so you can follow. Okay, so 3n squared three n squared, and see how fast you can work then. So you'll identify the how you're going to be factorizing the method you're going to be using, and then you can go ahead. So 3n squared plus 15 np, right? 15 np. That's it. Now, for this one, again, we are going to use we are going to factorize this by finding the highest common factor, right? 8CF. Now, what's the highest common factor of 3n squared and 15np? Right, so this would be 3n. Notice we have 3, 3 can go into 15 5 times. Right, so 3 is a factor of 15, and n is also common, right? So we can take out 3n. So 3n, right? That's the highest common factor. So 3n, now remember n squared is equal to n times n. So if we take out one of the n, we are going to be left with one n. So that would be n plus 15 divided by 3 is equal to 5. The n cancels, we're left with p. All right, there you have it. So that's January 2022 factorization question on the paper. Now let's hop over to, so that was January 2022. We can now go to which one now? So June 2018. Let's go to June 2018. Let me erase this. Bear with me here. Let's, all right, so I'm going to do the question and then you can go ahead and work it while I get rid of these. So all right, let me get my pen. So June 2018. And we have 1, 2. So it's 1 minus 4h, part 1. 1 minus 4h squared. So this one now is difference of 2 squares. Good. So we can write 1 as, if I do that, that's the same thing as saying 1 all squared, right? And I can write 4h squared, 4h squared, I can rewrite that as 2h all squared. So now I would have open bracket 1 minus 2h. That's 2 times 2 is 4, and h times h is 8 squared, right? Open bracket 1 minus, let's do plus first, and I'm going to do plus first, minus 2h. Right, so that's difference of squares. It's a 2 squared. So 1 times 1 is 1 squared. 2 times 2 is 2 squared. 2 is 4, right? And then h times h is 8 squared. 2 is 4, right? So, and then the next one, we have, what's 2018? We have, let's do this, that, 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 good. So it's pq minus q squared. So pq minus q squared. Don't listen to the popular one. What's the q? pq, make it into a proper p now. Minus q squared minus 3q. So minus 3q plus 3q. Sorry, this should be p. Okay, fix that now. Plus 3q. Now this will do what? Factorization by grouping. Alright, so factorization by grouping. So we're going to group them, then we find the 8 as one factor for each of the brackets. Alright, so that, this, and this. So what's common here has one factor here would be q. Alright, so q is common to this first bracket. Open bracket. pq divided by q will be p minus q times q divided by q would be q close, then minus 3 is common. So that's 3 open, 3p divided by, so that's p minus, so you have 3q divided by negative 3, which will be negative q, my rq. Right? Negative q or negative 1q. And then our answer then would be q minus 3 and P minus Q. Notice that we must have the same thing in both brackets, all right? Good, there you have it. So that's factorization by grouping. Good. That's June 2018. All right, let's go to 2018, June 2017. All right, June 2017. Let me erase this. So notice the trend that you need to know all the different methods of factorization. So factorization using the highest common factor, factorization um, by difference of squares, factorization by grouping, and how to factorize quadratic expressions, all right? So all of those are important. So we're looking now at June 2017. That'll be finished soon. So in this case, on this paper, there were three factorization questions. So first one, we have 6y squared minus 18xy. So write that down, 6y squared minus 18xy. You factorize that quickly, and then we can compare answers. So 6y squared minus 18 xy. Okay, I assume you are finished. Now we are going to, right, so this one is going to be factorization by finding the HCF, highest common factor. Right, so the highest common factor of 6 and 18 is 6. And we also have y that's common to both, right? So both terms. So we have 6y, open bracket, excuse me. And so 6y squared divided by 6y would be y. Remember, y squared is y times y. We cancel out 1, so minus 6 into 18 is 3. And then y into xy would be x. The y is cancelled, all right? So that's our answer. 6y to y minus 3x. And again, we can prove to see if our answer is correct by just using the distributive law and multiply each term in the bracket by 6y. All right? So ignore that marking. Okay, good. So the second one, let me get rid of this. Okay, so if you have that, then I guess we are correct. Okay. Good. Pen. And the second one, I'm going to read it and then you can write it down and just go ahead and work it. So it's 4m squared minus 1. 4m squared minus 1. Now, right away, 4m squared right away you look at the expression and see how you're going to be factorizing it. Am I going to use is it a difference of square? Am I going to use the highest common factor? It's a quadratic expression. Um they need to use or, so that's one. So remember now we can write 4m squared as 2m times 2m, right? And 1 squared is 1 times 1. And remember we said the general rule for, or the general form in which we do factorial difference of squared is a plus b into a minus b, right? So in this case, we're going to have 2m in bracket plus 1. They write plus 1 and minus 1, it doesn't matter, make a difference. And so the correct thing in both brackets. But I prefer to write positive first. So 2m minus 1. All right? So that's difference of squares. Okay? Then the third one is, write it down, 2t squared minus 3t. So 2t squared minus 3t minus 2. Right? So once you see it in this form, ax squared plus bx plus c, as a quadratic expression, right? Now, so, so we have the quadratic expression 2t squared minus 3t minus 2, right? So again, we are going to multiply a by c, right? So it's 2 times negative 2. So you can say ac, a times c equals 2 times negative 2 equal what? Negative 4. Negative 4. So we now need to find two factors of 4, right? The factors of 4 that when you multiply them, we get negative 4, sorry. Negative 4, and when we add them, we get negative 3, right? So add to give negative 3, multiply to give negative 4. Ignore that, I don't know why it's happening. All right. And this one. Good. So what are your factors? So mine then would be what? Negative 4 plus 1. Right, so negative 4 plus 1 would give us a negative 3. So let me write that up. So negative 4 times 1. Right? So negative 4 times 1 is equal to negative 4, and then negative 4 plus 1 equal -3. Why -3? -3 because when we add two numbers whose signs are different, we subtract the smaller from the larger, keep the sign that the larger number has, right? So we take 1 from 4, and then we keep the sign of the larger, right? Which would be 4 right there, so our result would be -3, right? Now we can replace C, which is -3t, which is -4 plus 1, all right? So we have 2t squared plus 4, okay, or in plus 1, plus 1, to be 1t or just t, right? Minus 4t minus 2, right? So we group them, then we take out the highest common factor from each bracket, right? So the highest common factor here would be would be t, right? T is common. 2t squared divided by t would be 2t, right? And both say t squared is t times t plus t divided by t is 1, not t, but 1, right? So you're saying t divided by t, right, is equal to 1. Then we can, 2 is common here, or 2 is a higher common factor, right? So -4t divided by -2 is equal to positive 2t, and -2 divided by -2 is positive 1, right? Now notice again, we must have the same thing in each bracket, right? So 2t plus 1, 2t plus 1. Then we take, so write down the factors. So it will be t minus 2 into 2t plus 1, right? So again, when we have the quadratic expression, we multiply. Once we have so we have ax squared. So once we have a, which is the 2, then we are going to multiply that 2, so a times the c, right? Then we are going to find the two numbers such that when we multiply them together, it gives us whatever a times c is, and when we add them, it gives us b. All right. So remember now, you add them to get b, product, or multiply them to get a times c. All right. Good. And then finally, we're going to look at January 2017, and then we are through. Okay, so that's, oh, we finished that already. Oh, well, that was June 2017. All right, so let's look at January 2017, and then we are through this session. And then our next session, we can look at a different number. But I want to encourage you students to maximize your section 1, right? Once you can master section 1 of your paper, then you're well on your way to passing the exam. Right? So make sure you're able to master all of these algebra. This factorization, your fractions, your consumer arithmetic, all of those, right? The numbers 1 to 8. So ensure that you're versed on them, you have them, that even if you were not able to maximize your marks for section 2, then you shouldn't have a problem passing the exam. So January 2017. And this one has 2 questions. So the first one was x squared minus 36. So x squared minus 36. Write that down, work, and then you can check your answers, right? We can compare answers. So x squared, and if you think I'm making a mistake, you can just leave a comment and let me know what is happening. All right. If there's something you don't understand, you can just leave a comment and I'll get it done for you. So notice we have 30 x squared minus 36. No, this is difference of squares because 36 is a squared number, all right? And x is squared, right? So we can see x is squared, 36 is a squared number, right? So we're going to do factorize this by difference of squared. So we have x, close it, open another one, then we have x, right? What 2 numbers you multiply? What number you multiply by itself to get 36? That would be 6, right? So 6 times 6 is 36, or the square root of 36 is 6. So plus 6 minus 6. That's it. You have it. And then the second one, 2x squared, 2x squared plus 5x x squared here, and minus 12. Now notice that this would be what? Difference of difference, the quadratic expression. So we have AC plus BX, mean AX squared plus BX plus C, right? AX squared plus BX plus C. So A is 2, C is negative 12. So AC, you go ahead and work, and then you compare answer, equals 2 times negative 12 equal negative 24. Right? Now we need to find pair factors of negative 24, so that when we add them, we get positive 5, and when we multiply them, we get negative 24. Right? So we have 24 times 1, that won't give us 5. When we add them, we have 12 times 2, that won't give us 5 when we add them. We have 3 times 8, let us see, 3 times 8. But 3 times positive 8 gives us positive 24. So it means that one of them has to be negative, all right? And positive 3 plus positive 8 is 11. So we need a positive 5, 5, and we need a negative 24. So we are going to use negative 3 times, so negative 3 times positive 8 would give us negative 24, and negative 3 plus 8 would give us a positive 5. So we're going to replace 5x with negative 3 plus 8, so 2x squared 2x squared minus 3x plus 5x. Right. Let me erase that 5x, that 5. Because we're replacing 5x with 3 and 8. Right? So it will be plus 8x minus 12. Good. Then we group them, group them, group them, then take out the highest common factor. Highest common factor for 2x squared minus 3x would be what? X. So we have x. We are left with, so 2x squared divided by 2x by x is 2x minus negative, so 3x divided by x is 3, close bracket. 4 is common here, so plus 4. Eight x divided by 4 is 2x. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. Good. So now we have x plus 4 2x minus 3. Again, remember that we must have the same thing in both brackets. All right, so we have x plus 4, 2x minus 3. And again, you can always expand the bracket, and if you expand the bracket, it should take you right back to where you're coming from. All right, so notice we have basically all the different type of factorization on the exam papers. All right, so factorization by using the HCF, difference of two squares, the quadratic expression. So please note those and just practice. And practice, 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 practice. Practice makes perfect, right? So again, I encourage you to continue to subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. Right? So leave a comment, like, and continue to subscribe. See you next time. Blessings.